We already live on Facebook. Okay. Sorry guys, we had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are live now. And thank you guys all for being here. And I want to welcome you guys to another I'm Loving Me webinar series. I'm Loving Me Project webinar series. The first thing that I want to say is thank you guys. We are at 3,000 members, over 3,000 members inside of our Facebook group. And I am so excited about that because it just shows me how much the work is needed and how much we have progressed in such a short time. You know, only 4 months old, and we've been doing so many wonderful things. And
congratulations, Gloria.
Thank you. And so tonight, guys, just to kick things off, we all know that it's Autism Awareness Month. And I have a special person here that I went to college with, who I know she's like family to me. Her name is Valon. Let me show you her name really quick. And it just so happens.
That's a very unique name.
Yes. And it just so happens that Valon is a first-time mom, and she has a son who is on the autism spectrum. And I wanted to bring her on because I know as a first-time mom, you go through so many struggles just becoming a mom. And then finding out that your son has autism, that's a whole nother struggle.
Yeah.
You know? And so we're just going to get into it tonight. I thank you so much, Valon, for being here.
You are welcome. I am honored. I'm actually honored.
Thank you. And I really want people to, you know, really get a good idea on what autism is and some of the things that you go through as a mom, and also personally, you know, some of those things that you struggle with that you can help other moms who are experiencing this to help them, give them some relief. So tell us the story. Okay, you pregnant with this wonderful, beautiful baby. And when did it all happen? Like when did you actually find out?
Well, I have to say, it was kind of early on that we saw some symptoms, if you will.
Okay.
And remember, I'm a first-time mom, so I have nothing to compare him to, nothing at all. My nephew is now he'll be, I think he's turning 31 this year. So that was like the last time we had a kid with diapers, anything.
Right.
So I have to really say it was my mom that helped me out, because you know how in our culture, Black people, like 4 months, we started giving them greens and cornbread and stuff like that. So he just was not eating anything. Even when we tried to give him some early on, he wasn't eating anything. So 6 months turned around, and it's like that's when they should be kind of turn it over to kind of a little bit of table food or something like that.
Right.
And he just was not going. He was not, it was like, it was becoming traumatic. He was falling out. If he saw a spoon with food on it, he was just kind of like, it was just tantrums.
Really? So we food at all? No solid foods at all?
Still to this day, my son does not eat.
Really? What does
he to this day. He actually drinks a nutritional drink. It's like, because he's allergic to milk. He's severely allergic to milk, by the way. Where he has to drink like a soy-based Ensure. This
now, was it an allergic reaction? Did it come from him drinking so much milk when he was younger? Or
he never drank milk. That was the thing, because when we tried to give him milk, when we tried to give him something like, well, I won't even say try.
Right.
We actually tried to get him to eat some yogurt one time. And he was just throwing up. We eventually we had to take him to the hospital. He was kind of pooping out blood, and that's when we knew that it was some type of reaction to milk. Okay. So we couldn't put him on Ensure. He literally wasn't eating anything. So we had to do, it's like this soy-based Ensure, and it's called Bright Beginnings. Literally, my son drinks about 8 cans of those a day, and we had to get to the point we had to dilute it, because each can is like 240 calories. So we're talking about 8 times 240. That's a lot of calories. and he'll be 6 next month. So, and that's really all the nutrition that he gets. So that's one of the huge things that we deal with. I would say one of the first things that really kind of embarked us on, like, okay, something's going on.
Yeah.
So I didn't really, how can I say this? Not so much as I didn't pay it mind, because we started getting speech therapy. This is early on, speech therapy, feeding therapy, around kind of like really getting into it about between 1 and 1.5. You know, he started.
Did you know that it was something, or was it just like you just thought that he was particular about his food? You know,
at first it was more particular about his food. Then it became, if we called his name, no eye contact. You know, like no pointing. It was just certain milestones again that my mom was kind of helping me with. Like, he should be doing this, he should be doing that. So I'm like, well, okay, I was taking heed to it, and just early on, they were kind of saying certain things when it came to his feeding and his speech, like he wasn't talking and stuff like that. Like, I literally thought my son would never talk. Really? But I believe it was because early on we started paying attention again, you know, giving it over to my mom. It's like, okay, well, you need to, and she's a nurse. Well, you need to be, you know what I'm saying? Outside of being a mother of 4, you know, she's a nurse. You know, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that. So I kind of give praises to not being in denial from like the jump. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Not being in denial from the jump. Really a support system, a huge and phenomenal support system. Personally, I had to be able to ask for support, you know, and receive it. It was very hard because I was first time mom at 33, you know. In my mind, I thought I was never going to have kids. I didn't want them. Not in like a bad way. I didn't want them because of the way that the world was, things that I had been through. But, you know, contrary to that, when I found out I was pregnant, you know, for Calvin and I, it was like, you know, we were pregnant. You know what I'm saying? I had a happy pregnancy. I was dressing up. My son was born on his due date. We had no complications, regular birth, everything. Like, it was no signs for me to be thinking like I did something wrong. Right. You know, but I'm not going to say I didn't beat myself up. I'm not going to say I didn't beat myself up.
We're going to get to that. I want to know, like, just when you guys were going through that part, just the fact that he wasn't eating and the speech and everything, like what was the thing that was going on in your mind? Like, okay, you have this child, you had this great, you know, experience and everything, and then now you like, hold the hell up. Like,
you know what? Sometimes I thought could be I ate too much spicy food. I ate too much. I'm real talking. Look, it was like hot dogs, it was tacos. You know, I was like, hot dogs was my peppers and all type of stuff. So I'm like, just anything to kind of give me some type of, you know, some type of sense of ownership, or this could be the reason why. But through therapy, you know, family therapy, and then also them telling me like it's nothing you could have, you know, done or anything like that. But I still had to come to grips and tell myself, you know, for some time that it wasn't anything that you did. I also thought about, you know, is it because, you know, maybe you could have been stressed out, depressed, or any, you know, things of that nature. I can't say that I had just the best pregnancy. I had some issues. It was like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, and you know, this, that, and the third. So it was hard at some points, but it wasn't hard during my whole pregnancy or anything like that. So I did blame myself to a certain extent, but then I had to tell myself, if we were gonna kind of get through this and, you know, find out and figure out, you know, what's going on and what we're dealing with, that I had to give myself a break. Right. I really had to give myself a break.
And so you get him some help and therapy. You have your mom, you have your support system. and then they say it's autism. And what was
so this
that
was
like?
at 3. This was at, he wasn't diagnosed until he was 3. So from the time from 1 to 3, we got resources like early intervention. In the state of Illinois, it's called early intervention. Again, my support system. My son was going to a home daycare. Miss Barbara Bynum. She was phenomenal because she allowed all his therapists to come to her house while I was at work. I wasn't even there. They would come to her house, her and her husband, Uncle Beryl, may you rest in peace. I mean, these 2 people allowed, 2-3 times a week, allowed people to come in their home that they didn't know and give my son therapy in their home. Wow. So again, this support system, you know what I'm saying? People understand that, like, what you're dealing with, and that you cannot do this alone. Right. It is not one of those things that I don't need nobody help. I can do it. No. Right. That's just really keeping it real. No. Like, you need people. You really, really need people.
And so he got diagnosed at 3. And so now, how has the world changed? Like, I know you guys had to fill yourselves up with information on how to get him to communicate and do all that stuff. So what was that like? Like, what are some of the things y'all had to do?
The first thing was, now we know what we're dealing with. It is autism. Okay, mm-hmm. So now after he's been diagnosed, it's like this wealth of resources. You know, now it's time, do we keep him in a daycare or do we, put him in school and stuff like that? So we decided to put him in school. Calvin was in a little denial at first, but when I say when he got rolling, he got rolling. Okay. And we found Carrington a therapeutic school. Mm-hmm. Kids with autism or on the spectrum, and it's called Leap Forward. So it's just all these wealth of resources just opened up, and then we jumped on the bandwagon. I started seeing like what I qualified for. My insurance covered his school, to just my amazement that, I had good insurance and that I didn't have to send him to a public school because I really wanted him to get the attention that I felt my son deserved. I didn't want him to be, pulled out from the norm or the, average kid. I wanted him to be around his peers and stuff like that. So it was those type of decisions that we started making, that we started saying that our life may not be like the average parents. Right. We have to make a lot of decisions based upon our son. Mm-hmm. And we still do that a lot. We still do that.
And so now, like, what are some of the things that he do? Because I know I saw like he do the sand art and stuff. I did see that. Okay, so my son. How is he? Like, how has he been responding? Like, they say that some of the kids, with autism, they answer questions for you, or they line stuff up. They put things in rows. Like, they're very, clean, or they like certain things.
No, Carrington is not very clean. Carrington is messy. Like, mommy is the, I kind of have to stop with, trying to the OCD and stuff and kind of like go with it, because mommy would clean up and then literally, I say it come and knock everything down. That's how Carrington is, because it's like he likes his mess, and I have to understand that, like, just because you want the house or his room spick and span, he kind of likes his area kind of messy, but still he'll help me clean up and stuff like that. But he loves art. Carrington loves art. The sand art. He will draw art in the dirt. Markers in water. He likes to see like the markers in water. Like if you put a marker in water, how the color is spread, he'll put another color on top of that. He loves art. So once we saw that, it was more so like, that's what we need to chime into. It's not so much as we want our child to be this way, we want our child to be that way. We're going down his own avenue. We're following his lead, so to speak. So if my son wants to be the type of person that travels the world and, looks at different art and want to go be on different beaches and play in the sand, those are the type of decisions that we're following his lead.
Right. And so,
that's the type of kid he is.
And what is I would say, how has that strengthened you, and how has that strengthened your relationship? Like, because knowing that you're gonna be, or you are dealing with this, and it's something that's gonna be happening for a very long time, how did you have to prepare yourself? Like those nights when you're thinking about, damn, this is hard. Like, what is the stuff that you doing?
Prayer.
I know that's right.
Prayer. My son has taught me a lot of patience. Just not flying off the coop with everything. When I get frustrated, because I get frustrated. I can't speak for anybody else. I've gotten frustrated. I know I will continue to get frustrated. Patience, calming down. If it's such a situation where I feel like I'm just overwhelmed, walking away, talking to someone. I remember one time my mom telling me it's okay to walk away. It's okay to, when he was a baby, he used to cry all the time. She would tell me look, that boy is not going to die from crying. Close the door or something like that. So it's those things like that I kind of recall on. It's it's okay to walk away. It's okay to be mad and be okay, well, I'm mad, but I'm not gonna hit my kid. I try to understand well, what's wrong, parenting, because before he wasn't able to talk, but now he's way more verbal than what he was before. So I try to say, well, what's the problem, Carrington? Come and let me talk to you for a second. Come holler at mama real quick. And I just keep it real with my son, let mama holler at you real quick. What's going on? And so I let him use his words. The very few that he has, I understand it because this is an everyday thing for us. So I use his words, and we go from there a lot of the time.
Okay, so it's more like y'all just communicating with him, trying to get him to continue to communicate with you guys.
And he's so excited to, one thing that I learned about my son, he's so excited to show you that I know new things.
Oh,
I mean, it's just phenomenal, some of the stuff that he does. He's a comedian, he's a goofball, he's the average boy. He's just really where I felt like he had delays. He's just really coming into being that rambunctious little boy, all over the place, running back and forth, where I felt like he probably should have been doing that at maybe 2 and 3. Now he's just all over the place. So, we just take it a day at a time, and again, follow his lead a lot of the times.
Okay. So you have prayer, you have a great support system. So and this is for the moms, when it gets in that dark place, and praying is something that you do, but you're not feeling it. Patience is something that you want to do, but it ain't there because you just got off work, you're ready to go ahead and just wind down, and then all of a sudden that you can't, because you're walking into a situation where you have to switch your hat real quick and be that person for him, and you're still not paying attention to yourself yet. So when do you get that time to work on yourself and pay attention to yourself?
One of the things that Calvin and I initially did when he got diagnosed is we went to family therapy, where we were able to sit down with single moms, single dads, couples, everything. We had to go through this 6-week period where we actually met once a week for 6 weeks. It was a requirement after his diagnosis. So even though it was a requirement, it just woke us up. So that it was so enlightening, we weren't alone. You feel so alone at times, I can't believe we're going through this. And then that strengthened us because we were communicating more, because it's like we have to. Our communication increased. It was more effective, because we wanted to be on the same accord for Carrington. I didn't want it to be, we didn't want it to be like, I'm doing this and you not doing that. So when it came to Carrington, we were just like, we're on board, It strengthened our relationship.
And it's good that you got the counseling, because they say like the number one thing that breaks up couples and marriages and everything is a child with special needs. I mean, you could come back.
It's strengthened us.
Yeah, you could come back from cheating. You could come back from most of the things, abuse, everything. But when it comes to a child with special needs, that really challenges you, because you got so many different personalities and you got so many different ideas on how you think the child should be raised and everything.
Yeah.
So, it's good that y'all came together and y'all got the counseling early. So how's he doing now? Like, what are the stuff you guys do now with him?
Carrington, he is kind of like a YouTube kid.
Okay.
But another one of the things that I love about him is he likes the outdoors. He loves going to the park. He likes going in the backyard, getting into dirt. I love that he still likes to go outside and play with the dirt and stuff like that. Of course, with old man winter still here, we've been, it's snowing now. It's like a snowstorm. It's April 14th and it's a snowstorm. So he still likes to play in the snow, jump in muddy puddles. He like to get dirty. So, mama be want to dress him. Now Carrington be want to jump in the mud, play in the mud. So he is definitely like that average boy, so to speak, in certain aspects. So that's what I love about him. He'll put the tablet down, to kind of do some of the average kid stuff.
Mm-hmm. And
he's talking more. And that's huge for us, that he's talking more, because I seriously thought my son would never talk. And now dude is a straight motor mouth. He talking in sleep. Oh man, wake up.
Talking in sleep.
Wake up talking, talk himself to sleep. So those are some of the things that I've learned to like really just give praises to, because it's like, remember it was a time when you thought the boy wasn't gonna talk. So I never tell my son to shut up. I may tell him to be quiet or something like that, but I never tell him like, boy, would you just shut up?
Uh-huh.
Keep talking.
And how y'all handle him when he get frustrated?
You know what? I'ma seriously be honest. Like early on, Carrington was kind of tantrumy because he didn't have a voice. Okay, so like the tantrums and falling out, he didn't know how to tell us, he wanted this or he wanted that. Carrington now he's not one of those tantrumy type kids. He's not one of those falling out or anything like that. He is just like, he's very literal. No, mommy, I don't want to do that. So I kind of listen to certain things. Now, when it comes time to stuff like it's time to go to bed, and he telling me like, no, but I don't want to go to bed. Boy, you about to get up. It's 11 o'clock. I don't let you hang out with me a little bit too long. Right. You trying to drink coffee and take notes. It's time to get in bed. So it's certain stuff like that. But he is very laid. He's laid back like his dad, but then he coming to the stage like his mom. So he is. I mean, in so many ways, he's very average.
Gotcha.
You want to say something, Carrington? Oh, he said no. That's what he was saying. No, I'm good. So, in so many ways, he is not like how other kids on the spectrum are. You get a lot of people that say, well, they can't take their child here or they can't do that. He has really kind of mellowed out for like the past 2-3 years, we just haven't had any of those issues. He's just, now that he's coming to his words, he's using them more often versus having the tantrums and stuff. So let me say that much.
Okay. And so for the first time mom out there who has a child with autism, what is the best advice that you would give them so that they can go ahead and start their journey? Because, it sounds like support system is the biggest thing. And it looks like that has sustained you. And but there are some people who might not have that support. And one person says, how old is your son? How old is Carrington again?
Carrington will be 6 next month on the 28th.
Okay, so he's going to be
5 now. He'll be 6.
Yes. So Verla says it was music to our ears when her nephew started talking.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like, okay, so I'm hood. It was like awkward to me, and it was like, oh my God.
What did he say when he first started talking? Do you remember?
I mean, it was stuff like just him saying no. Okay, I'll give you this prime example. I was yearning for my son to say, I love you, mommy. Okay. The first time, and it hurt my feelings so bad, the first time he said, I love you, it was to his aunt and Calvin's sister. Her name was Erica. And I was right there. And when he said it, oh my God, it was like, it was one of those aha moments, but I was like, exactly. So, and it was one of those moments where she was holding him and she was like, I love you, nephew. And he was like, I love you. And I was like, but he told her that I'm always telling him that, and he didn't say it back to me. So my feelings were hurt, but then it was like, I came to the realization that at least he said it back. That was the first time he said it back. So it's just, like she said, music to my ears, so to speak. And now the little boy, he'll say certain stuff, like he told me the other day, not now. He was like, not now, Mr. Mom. And I'm like, he's dramatic like his mom. He's dramatic. Remember I posted that Calvin was leaving out, and he was like, you're the reason why Dad left. And I'm like, no. Where did you get that from? Like, you watching these shows too much, dude. Like, just too much YouTube. Like, where? Because you didn't get it from me. Right. So he picks up a lot of things. The whole Mr. Mom, Mr. Dad thing. Like, it's funny, but that's huge for us.
Right.
It's huge for him to know that he's funny.
Right.
And, to come back and want to say something else. So it's just, he has a very bubbly personality, and I just know that he's going to be great. My son is going to soar at whatever he's showing me now that as long as we stay progressive and positive, that's not to say that you're not going to have hurdles and other issues and concerns and stuff like that, but know the resources. Don't be scared of therapy. Don't be scared to talk to somebody outside your mama or your sister. Go speak to a professional, so you can get the help that you may need. You may not even know that you needed help. Like, even though we did family therapy, I had to get some therapy myself.
Right.
So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I'm just doing it. No, I had to say, you know what? Maybe you need to go talk to someone by yourself about some of the issues, because sometimes you will think something was wrong with you, even though it was. When mommy get out town, you want the crayons, paper and crayons. You want the crayons and a bigger paper. He don't like the 8x10. He like the 11x14 paper, baby. He wants the bigger paper.
Verla said that her nephew will be 15, and his favorite thing is directions to places. He loves to look it up and tell.
Wow. Now, Carrington has a great sense of direction. If we're getting off at a certain exit, it's like he either, you know, turn up or like, no, that ain't, I don't want to do. Like, if we get off at our exit to go home, he be, no, mommy, this way, this way, this way. Like, he don't want to go home. He want to keep riding, you know. He want to, you know, keep staying outside, you know, or he want to go to Target. He be like, this way, Target, versus going to his school. Put your shirt down.
Well, it sound like he a regular kid when he running around.
You want to say hi? Come say hi to Gloria. Come here.
Hi.
Not Gloria, it's Gloria. Not Gloria. No, Gloria.
And help. So one of the things that we're doing here is like I'm trying to really make sure that people have the support system that they need, because like you said, people don't know that they need it sometimes. And talking to people who are just like you, and none of y'all have the answers, or you know, talking to people within your family and nobody really has the answers, or they tell you their perspective on what they would do, it really puts you in a position where you like, okay, maybe I need to go somewhere else and just get somebody to listen to me. Mm-hmm. And the good thing that I heard is that you had to get counseling for yourself first, because that's the way you will be able to deal with whatever that's coming at you, because this is for the long haul. This is not like it's, you know, something that's going to be happening.
It may be for a lifetime. You know, especially my lifetime. You know, historically, you leave before your child do. So this may be for a lifetime, and that's something that Calvin and I was just saying. Like, you know, hey, this is our journey. You know, we're in it together, and you never know what happens. Right. I'm not saying we breaking up because we good, but you never know what happened. But those are the type of conversations that Calvin and I have, like, you know, no matter what, you know, we're gonna be here, you know, for our son. You know, no matter what, we're gonna be here for our son. And we communicate. It's like we communicate differently when it comes to him. Like this time with me and him is like, man, whatever. Like, but Karen said, no, we need to holler at each other about this. This is what we got to do. These are the plans and stuff like that. So again, that really aided in our. I'm on the phone. I just told you, okay?
Lord, okay. Well, Carrington, we thank you for letting us use your mama, okay?
You want to come say bye to the people? Come here. Come on, just come say bye. Come here.
Bye. Hi, Carrington. How are you?
Love you.
You said love you? Okay. He like, man. Look, if you're not in person, Carrington he don't do telephones and stuff like that. He's like, no, I don't want to talk to nobody. Once they hear, you know, that's one thing.
Right. Well, I do want to thank you for coming on and being such a wonderful, wonderful host and really, really giving us some tips. But yes, I do believe in the fact that counseling is very important, because it sounds like that's the thing that's sustaining y'all. And that's the thing that's really helping y'all grow. So
not being in denial, please. You know, not so much as embrace it, but try to have an understanding of what you're dealing with. I'm gonna give you your paper. It's so rude.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let you go because I know you gotta go tend to him. But I thank you. And again, we're gonna do this again because we're gonna have another panel discussion with some more women, because I really want to get into it where we really talk about, you know, the whole spectrum of autism and really give out some really good information to.
I would love that.
And everything. So I really, really thank you for coming on. And I thank everybody who came on and really, really showed us some love. We will do this again. And we're going to sign off for now. Guys, I'm going to tell you this, though, that please tune in. I have one more interview that's coming up with this wonderful lady. We're going to be doing some wonderful things. Her name is Michelle Asper.
Okay.
Video. See ya.
Thank you for having me, Gloria. Love you guys.
Love you. Bye, Carrington.
Say bye-bye, Carrington.
Bye.
All right. Y'all heard that?